The most well-known and trusted card grading companies are without a doubt PSA and BGS. And here we find ourselves in the age-old debate, which is better? But before that, I'll explain how each company grades their cards. The Professional Sports Authenticator, or PSA for short, grades their cards from 1 being poor, all the way up to 10 being gem mint. As you can see, with the Unlimited Black Lotus, this card would be graded as a poor as it is no longer sleeve legal, as it has been creased and is very damaged. And next to it is a Alpha Black Lotus, which has been graded 10 because it has no real wear or printing defect such as centering or inking. These are the most overt differences, but get much more difficult as you get closer grades. The rest of the grades get much more annoying to deal with, as the name given to these grades is quite contradictive to what the actual quality of the cards are, at least in the common sense. Because one step up from poor is called good, which really means heavily played or possibly damaged. Then the next grade, level 3, is very good, and proceeding to level 4 is very good to excellent. I don't know about you, but when I think of very good and excellent, I think of something either near mint or slightly played, and not shuffled without sleeves and played on the blacktop. This brings us to our next example, which is a Beta Black Lotus that has seen some play and some wear, as you can see on the corners and the edges, as well as the surface. This has been graded a 5, or excellent. The different grades proceed up to level 10, when the card is in almost, if not perfect, condition. On to Beckett Grading Services, or BGS for short. The only real difference between these two companies in grading is the pristine grade, or BGS 10, as well as the subgrades. There is also the inclusion of the prestigious black label, as seen on Jace the Mind Sculptor, compared to the Time Vault, where all the subgrades must be 10, and is incredibly difficult to achieve. There are 4 subgrades, which are centering, edges, corners, and surface. These are used in conjunction with each other to determine the final grade. You are able to use these subgrades to determine where your card fell short. This is my personal reason why I prefer BGS to PSA. Now we can start comparing the two. The general consensus between collectors is that a PSA 10 is practically equal to a BGS 9.5. Well, this depends on if all the subgrades are 9.5s. This is generally where collectors draw the line on if a card is a true BGS 9.5. Though heading down the grades, the quality of the cards is relatively the same. A PSA 8 would resemble a BGS 8, and vice versa. So in reality, there's not much of a difference between these two companies. The biggest concern is the consumer's trust in these companies. If not for that, then the grades would be meaningless. In the end, I can only give you my personal opinion, which would be BGS over PSA. Simply put, because of the subgrades. I hope this video helped you, and if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment.